Okay, so the next chart that we want to add on our dashboard is basically the trend line. So the trend line by country, by state and by city, where we can see that which months were performing well and which months were performing below the average. So let us take a look how can we do that. The first thing that we need to do is that we need to copy any of the sheet which already has a pivot table, so that we can save our time. So it doesn't matter which one, you can copy just anyone, and we already know how we do that. Just click on any of the sheet and press the control button and just leave it there. And here we have the sheet. First of all, I will rename this as trend, and on this sheet, in this field, I want to remove the existing chart, so I will remove this city from here and I will get the transaction date. And on this transaction date, you can see that Excel has already summed up your data by 2018, 2019 and then months. By the way, if that is something you are not expecting, you can click here and you can group and ungroup your dates as you like. The next thing, we want to change this chart to represent the trend line. So I will press the Alt key to get my panel, and on this format tab here, not format, sorry, design tab here, I will click on the change chart type and I will select the trend line that I like. I think I will go with the first one. Well, there are a few others as well and pretty much they are doing the same thing, but I think the first one is good enough for us. So I will go with that one and I will click OK. And in this trend line, first of all, let us remove this axis. I really don't think I need this axis here. So I will click here and I will say remove this axis. I don't need the chart title as well, so I will remove that as well. So that is a pretty decent chart here. The next thing that I want to do is that I want to add multiple lines for different countries. So for USA, we should have separate lines. Similarly, for Mexico and Canada, we should have a separate line. So this should not be one line representing the totals. How do we do that? Let us bring in country from here to the legend. And you can see that we now have separate lines for America, similarly for Canada and for Mexico. And one more thing that you must be noticing is that these lines are only starting from mid. That is because in 2018 there were no sales for Mexico or Canada. So there we go, that is it. I think this chart is ready. So I will just copy this chart from here and let me close these panels. I don't need to work on them. I will just press Ctrl C. I will go to my dashboard and I will press Ctrl V. And here we have our chart ready. And the next thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to just I just need to fit in beautifully here in my place. I will make sure that I'm doing it right below the country column, that the country chart that I already have. So let me drag it here from here to this one. And I think that is pretty much showing me the trend. So which months are my sales going down and which months are basically my sales is going high. So we need to add the similar charts for state and city as well, and you already know how we can do that. First of all, let me delete this duplicate dashboard. I don't know where this came from, so I will just delete this one, and I need to bring in this trend. Okay, so what I need to do is that I just need to copy and paste this sheet one more time, and this time I'm doing this trend by state. So I'll keep it there, and now in this chart what I need to do is that let me get my panel back, analyze field list. I just need to remove the country and I need to bring in the state. So here we have the data by state. Definitely there are so many lines, it is very meaningless to look at all the lines in this chart, but it will get a meaning when we are working with the filters on our dashboard. So I will just copy and paste it here. So once you apply the slicers, you will see that my trend lines will be reduced and things will start to make much more sense. But for now, let me quickly get my cities as well, and then we will apply the slicers only once and together. So that is fine. And now let me copy and paste this sheet here, and then I will rename it as trend by city. And now that we have trend by city, and let me remove the state from here and let me get in the city. Now there are so many lines, of course, and together this is not making any sense, but do not worry, in on the dashboard, they will be making much more meaningful sense there. So I will just copy it here and I will bring it at the top, and let me resize it to be more meaningful. Right, so we have trend lines on our dashboard, and dashboard is looking a little fancy now. And what I need to do is that I need to apply a slicer, and on the basis of slicer, these charts should automatically be getting updated. So will that happen? Let me take a look. First of all, let me click on the slicer and let me see the report connections. And if you look at this, all the charts, all the new charts that you have added already have reported connections with the slicer. So Excel will take care of that. So let me check all of them. In fact, not all of them, let me check few of them, and let me see that if there are already connections that are built with the charts with the slicers. Now what we need to do is that, let me show you how it will be making much more sense to us. So if I apply filter now on, let us say, Canada, because it has less cities and less countries, you can see that we clearly have a trend line that is making much more sense to us. And we can see that in this particular month of 2019, in August, Vancouver had reported lower sales. The total sales was 2003, and if I can see here, the previous months were having 2384 sales, and in the next month we're having higher sales. So we can see that what exactly were the problems in this particular month. Maybe there was a lot of snow and people were not going for shopping or something like that. We really need to find out. We really need to do multiple we need to find out the reasons, doing multiple kind of analysis. So I will delete this particular slicer. Now I will go to Mexico. So there are so many cities that we are unable to really focus on any of the city here, but still we can see that some of the cities, you can see this line here, that this line is going down, so you can try to identify the problems. But let us apply another additional filter of state as well. So what if we can go to this particular state here? So now you can see the state and you can see the city as well. If I move the different state, you can see the state and city. Somehow all of them are having only one city in one state, but yes, this one has the multiple, and this one also has the multiple cities. So you can really see the trend line.